Hi everybody, and welcome to the dev server for the update Hornet Sting in War Thunder. Today we'll take a look at all of the new vehicles available in this dev server. Keep in mind that everything that you see right now is subject to change and nothing is final. So we start from the United States, and the only ground vehicle that is available, so the XM246. This is an anti-air that you will find at rank 6 at BR 8.3. As you can see, it's a pretty massive anti-air, and armor-wise you have quite a well-armored hull with almost no armor for the turret. The tank itself has 3 crewmen with a driver, a commander and a gunner, and you are armed with 2 35mm cannon and a 7.62mm machine gun. Here on the turret we have the gunner optics, the tracking radar, and up here the search radar with a range of 45 kilometers. As modifications, we find here we find the default belt filled with APIT and HEIT rounds. The same thing for the DM11A1, and then we find the DM13 filled with the same round, just in a different disposition. And then we find the DM23 that it's a full APDS belt with 127mm of penetration. So this probably will be another of those anti-air that will be more used for tank destroying purposes than an actual anti-air. We then move to still the American Tech 3, but the aviation side, where we find the vehicles which this update is called after. So we find first the FA-18A, and we find it at rank 8 at BR 12.7. In front here we find the radar AN APG 65Q with all of the bells and whistles typical of every top tier aircraft. Here we find the 20mm Vulcan cannon, and the pilot right here has all of the classic stuff like the CCIP for cannon, rockets, bombs, CCRP, and everything else. As engine, we find the F404 GE 400, and as modifications, we find the AIM-9L as IR missiles, and both the AIM-7F and AIM-7M as long-range semi-active radar homing missiles. As you can see, this aircraft doesn't have any active radar homing missile. For air-to-ground purposes, this aircraft mainly has dam bombs and rockets, except for the AGM-62 Walleye, that it's a TV guided weapon. We then move to the F-18C Early, that it's a premium pack still for the American Tech 3, and you will find it at battle rating 13.0, 12.3 for ground, and you will see that the radar it's the same as the FA-18C, and also the engine. Munition wise, instead, we find this aircraft as the AIM-9P, that's a new missile for this update, and it has a lot more guided air-to-ground weaponry. You still have the Walleye right here, but you also have the LGBU, the AGM-65F, and the AGM-65E. If we then move to the FA-18C late, where we move to the new top tier aircraft for America. That you will find it at 14.0 air and 12.7 ground. Here you can see that we have a new radar, the AN APG-73, and also new engines, the F404 GE402. Munition-wise, we also find finally the AIM-120B and the AIM-9M as IR missiles. Here we see again a lot of air-to-ground guided weaponry. So we then move to Germany. Germany in the ground tech tree receive this new vehicle, the PZ-SPWG P204F pack. This vehicle was actually in the beginning said to be just for France. It was instead modified to be also in the German tech tree. It is a light tank at rank 2 at BR 2.3. It has very little armor, so you basically won't stop anything that looks your way, especially the turret. Anything with a heavy machine gun will be able to machine gun you to death. And this vehicle has 4 crewmen. It has a driver, a gunner, a loader, and the commander behind here that can actually drive the vehicle from this position right here. Modification wise, the only ammunition that is unlockable right here, it's a Panzer Grenade 40, that's a PC and APCR round. But at this BR, the Panzer Grenade 39 will be more than good enough with 106mm of penetration, while the APCR will have 130 and 137mm respectively. Keep in mind that the APC makes quite a bit more damage compared to the APCR rounds. Still in the German tech tree for ground vehicles, we find the Clovis, that it's a premium vehicle that we find at rank 5 at BR 8.0, and it's basically a murder hull with an oscillating auto-loading turret. Armor wise, again, you are very weak. You have very little armor, so again, anything that looks your way, you are basically dead. And you have a 3-man crew with a driver, a commander, and a gunner. Behind here you can see the autoloader. Modification wise, you will have everything unlocked, and round wise we can find this heat round that obviously it's not finished yet, seeing that it has 5mm of penetration. We also have this HE round and a smoke round. We then move to the helicopters, where in the helicopters we find a new premium vehicles at 10.7 for Germany. This one is the Tiger HAD, that it's a Spanish variant of the Tiger attack helicopter. Armor wise, we have this 20mm composite bathtub for the pilots, and we have a Kevlar seating with a little bit of steel armor for the engine right here. Modification wise, we find that this aircraft doesn't have any fire and forget missile. The only missiles that it gets for air-to-ground duties, it's the Hellfire, that it can only carry a maximum of 8 of it, and then you can carry at a maximum 4 Mistral air-to-air IR manpads missile. We then move to the USSR. In the USSR, in the ground tech tree, we find two vehicles that are very similar. They are right here, the 2S19M1, that it's another artillery piece. You find it at rank 5 at BR 7.0. It is armed with a 152mm 2A54 cannon with a 12.7mm machine gun for backup. As armor, we see that again, being an artillery, you have very little armor, and as crewman, you got a driver, a gunner, a loader, another loader, and the commander. Modification wise, you have all of the classic ones with all of the rounds here, with obviously the classic HE rounds, HE round with proximity fuse, an hit round that's quite typical for Russian artillery. That again, this hit round is again not finished, seeing that it has a 5mm penetration. And strangely, for an artillery, it also gets a AP HEBC round. A very similar vehicle, we find it also right here, the 2S19M1 as a squadron vehicle. It's very similar, and I'm not really sure what's the difference. You have a 2A65M2 cannon, you got the same crewman, and armor-wise, you get basically the same scheme. And modification-wise, you have basically almost all of the same rounds as the other vehicle. And the only big difference between the two is the 1.5 second reload that there is between the two. This one reload 1.5 second faster, this one 1.5 second slower. None of the two has a laser telemeter, so you will need to judge the distance in the normal way, so using your judgment. On the aviation tab, we instead find the Su-30SM, and right here we find that it's a tandem seating aircraft. The pilot has all of the same balloon whistles as all of the other top tier aircrafts. Behind here we got the Gusher 30-1 with 180 rounds, and as engine we find two AL-31FP. As modification, we see that we have a lot of weaponry, both for air-to-air and also air-to-ground, with also the gliding bombs, and a lot of TV guided and IR guided and laser guided weaponry. This will be the new top tier aircraft for Russia at 14.0 in air realistic battles. In the we then have also a vehicle in the coastal fleet, the SM4. That's a it's a 1.3 tier rank 1 vehicle. Unfortunately, I'm not really a naval player, so I'm not really sure how this new vehicle will fit the current meta for low tier naval battles. We then move to Great Britain, where in the ground we find two new vehicles. One is this one, the Harry Hopkins 1. This one is a light tank at rank 2 at battle rating 2.3. Being a light tank, we have again very little armor, nothing will struggle to pen you at 2.3 BR, and we have a 3-man crew with driver, gunner and commander. As modifications, we have all of the classic stuff for light tanks, And ammunition, we have the Shot Mark 1 for the 2-pounder with 72 millimeters of penetration solid shot. We then have the 89 millimeter with the Shot Mark 9B. And then we have the Shot Mark 1 APHVT, that it's another solid shot round. We have also an APHE round. It's quite atypical for the British Tech-3 with the Shell Mark 1 APT with only 66 millimeters of penetration. The other ground vehicle, it's the Rapier anti-air, the tracked Rapier. This one, it's a Canadian vehicle. As armor-wise, you basically have none, and as crew, you got a driver, a commander, and a gunner. Unfortunately, the radar is not yet modeled, so we don't know how good it is. And as modification, we see that you have an unlockable missile, the Rapier Mark II. The Rapier Mark I, it's a semi-active guided line of sight missile with a 7 kilometers maximum range and a maximum overload of 22.5 G. The Rapier Mark II, it's basically very similar, except that you have a 8 kilometers range, and that's pretty much it. We don't have any new aircraft for the UK, but however we have a new two new ships. One, it's the HMS Warspite, a 7.0 rank 6 battleship. Again, as before, unfortunately, I'm not a naval player, so I really don't know how the Warspite will fare in the naval battles. And we also have a new reserve vehicle, the MTB-35, and here it is. We then move to Japan, that unfortunately has no new vehicles except for two ships. One, it's the IGN Matsu, that it's a destroyer at rank 1 at 3.7 BR. Here it is. And then we have also for Japan a new reserve vehicle, that it's the Type T14 Mod 2. Here it is. We then move to China. With China, we have a new aircraft right here that will be the new top tier for the Chinese Tech-3. That is the J11B. Here it is. The J11B has the Type 1493 PD radar. It has the pilot has all of the classic stuff for top tier vehicles, and as engine it has the WS-10A. As offensive cannon, it has the Type 30-4 that has a 150 ammo pool. As secondary weapons, we get the PL. We have the PL-8B as AR missile, and we then have the PL-12 as the active radar homing missile. Instead, for air-to-ground weaponry, at this moment, it has only unguided rockets and nothing else. We then move to Italy. Italy has ground vehicles. It has the Ariete Certezza. This one is a new premium, and this one is an retextured Ariete with the colors of the Certezza training course, and it also has this weird little exhaust added behind the tank. The vehicle, armor-wise, is exactly the same as a normal Ariete, and X-ray-wise, it has the same exact crew layout as a normal Ariete. Modification-wise, well, as you have seen, it has the war add-on armor on, but you can also put the camouflage on. Unfortunately, I can't show you the camouflage because I don't own the tank yet, so I can't do that. And the vehicle comes with the DM12A1, the DM33 and the DM53. Obviously, being a premium, you have already unlocked all of the modifications, so the DM53 is obviously the run that you will use most of the time. If we move then to the aviation side, we have the Tornado EDS MLU RET8 that is folded with the Tornado EDS 1995. This vehicle will be at 11.7 air realistic battles and 11.3 ground battles. It's a very similar aircraft to the one that we have already in game, and unfortunately it's a vehicle that it's absolutely not finished, because as you can see it doesn't have any modification. In the Blue Water Fleet we find also the Grecale, this destroyer at rank 1 at BR 3.7. Again, as all of the other ships that I showed you right now, I can't really give you an opinion on how good it is. We move then to France, and in the the army tab we find the AMD 35 pack, that it's exactly the same vehicle as the one that we just saw in the German tech tree, except with a French coat of paint. We then move further down and we find both, again, the Clovis, that it's the classic, exactly the same vehicle as the other one that I showed you in the German tech tree, except again with a French paint scheme. And finally France got the Marder DF105, that it's again the exact same vehicle as the one in the German tech tree, except with a French color. France also got a new helicopter that sits right here, the EC665 Tiger HAC. This one, compared to the other one in the French tech tree, doesn't have any cannon down here. It has the electro-optical sight here and up here, and modification wise it's the one that get the Pars 3 AL-air IR guided missile, compared to the other one with which it is folded. In the France doesn't get any new aircraft, any other aircraft, but it gets quite a few ships. It gets the new reserve right here, the VTB-12. Here it is. It got also the VTB-18. At 1.0. It then got the Iconi. Here it is, at 2.3 rank 2. And gone, and then it got the Marne at rank 3 at battle rating 3.0. Sweden instead, this update at the moment has only received the F-18C, that it's the Finnish F-18C. Compared to the American one, it is a lot more similar to the F-18C late, seeing that it has the same radar and the same engine as the late model. However, this aircraft doesn't get any air-to-ground weaponry. It only has the AIM-9L, M, and the AIM-120B. It doesn't have any air-to-ground capability. We then move to Israel, and also Israel in this update, at least till now, gets only one new vehicle, that it's the F-16A Block 10 nets. This one is a premium pack for Israel, and this one gets all of the same bell and whistles as all of the other F-16 at its BR, with the same radar, the same capabilities for the pilot, except that this aircraft doesn't get any other air-to-ground weaponry apart from the IR missiles, that is the AIM-9P, the AIM-9L, and the Python 3. So it doesn't get any semi-active radar homing or any active radar homing missile. So these are all of the vehicles that are present currently in the dev server, and I really hope that you liked this quick video, and if you did, please leave a like, comment and subscribe.